and the roads are not illuminated well, no road markings. And I know a number of friends from abroad, when they come, they keep asking, how are you able to drive on these roads? Because there's no signage, there's nothing. With street light, there's a bit of an issue that has come to the attention of the Road and Transport Committee. If you notice, Ministry of Local Government through Common Fund does supply street lights sometimes. Ministry of Energy does supply street lights sometimes. And sometimes they supply these street lights and give it to the assemblies and others and ask them to go and install. Whether those lights are of the highest quality is another question. Whether they are installed properly is another matter. So it is a synergy between Ministry of Energy and the local authorities. As for the roads, the physical roads are under the domain of the road ministry. The safety on the road is between Ministry of Road and Ministry of Transport, because National Road Safety Authority is under Ministry of Transport. So I think this issue can best be addressed with a combination of how we take a second look at that. Whose job is it to supply, install, and maintain street lights in Adaklu? Is it Ministry of Energy or the Adaklu District Assembly? That question has never been answered. But we all see street lights distributed to the assemblies and sometimes through members of parliament. Well, mainly during elections. So we need to address this. And many people have also complained that some of the street lights that are supplied don't last. Maybe it is the way it is installed. Maybe it is something else. So we'll address it. But the major things you talked about, including your constituency and the motorway, are of concern. The challenge, though, is that the motorway is currently under contract. They may have to do some work to an extent for us to know where the street lighting would be. Because perhaps if you go and even fix them today, next week, when they are doing clearing, maybe it will be in the right of way, it will not be there. So as for the motorway, we may have to provide a temporary situation. But your area, we'll look at it. When this committee generously recommends me to the plenary and I get approval and go to the ministry, I promise to get
Any further question?
Yes,
Honorable Deputy Whip.
Mr. Chair, I also heard my very good friend enumerate a lot of problems. One of the major ones is the interest on contracts. And I think I heard you say it's about 30%. Are you considering redrafting contracts so that the 28 days, which is normally when IPCs are raised and they are supposed to be paid, and there is default in payment, that is where now the interest arises. Are you considering redrafting contracts? And if so, are we also considering making prompt payments to contractors? Because this is where, and also, are you also actually considering having a synergy with maybe some banks so that they can perhaps provide mobilization and pre-financing of some of these projects instead of rather getting to pay them as interest? Thank you.
Honorable Deputy Whip, are you talking about review of those contracts or?
Chairman, yes, Chairman, I think I get what he is saying, and I know you are one of the experienced lawyers in this house. You know, once the contract has taken effect, any attempt to go and redraft portions of that contract, you can, but you need the agreement of the parties that form that contract. So it will be more of the new contracts. I think that is what he's talking about. But that is not the solution. The solution is prompt payment. I know that some banks initially took up the responsibility of providing some support to the contractors. Many of those banks have withdrawn since because of this interest matter. well, I don't want to mention the banks. Some of them will say, we'll take you on, but we don't want to be responsible for the interest between you and government. Like I said, if you see what has happened on the first issue in 2018, because the delays was on 2,464 days times 30%. So you can imagine. So every 28 days is calculated and added to the other one. So indeed, we have to look at some of the way we write some of these contracts. But until government begins to pay promptly, that would still be very little in terms of achievement in reducing the interest on delayed payment.
Any further questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is just a follow-up. And this is on the basis of the review and the redraft aspect. I'm looking at contracts that you would now, as it were, now construct. So new contracts. As to whether or not you want to review, that's not within my remit. But I'm looking at contracts that, as Minister of Roads, are you considering maintaining the 28 days where, when there is a default, you are going to pay interest of 30%? That is the question, please.
Well, thank you very much. You referred to me as Minister of Roads. It is only going to happen when you give it. So I take it as amen. But it is difficult to just say here without consultation. I said earlier, there will be the need for engagement with stakeholders. That's Ministry of Finance, Attorney General, and then my ministry. We can come up with something that is more humane to the contractor and sustainable to government. So I'm hoping, when approved, I would update the House as to the best way forward with regard to this particular matter.
Any further questions?
Yes. Honorable nominee, so the repeal of Act 540 that established the Ghana Highway Authority, and what you think the National Labour Commission has done to virtually suspend the implementation of the National Roads Authority. What's your take or your view on that?
It's now an act. We have actually passed it. It's in force. The rationale behind that law is to not collapse the road agencies, but harmonize the way they work, which requires creating a new apex body led by the Director General. Not much about the law, but it appears implementation has has got to a point where there's a snag. So there's a lot of discomfort at the road agencies, highways, feeder road, and urban road. What I can commit to do is to sit down with them and see the best way. I'm hearing all sorts of things. I have no way of verifying them in terms of who is appointed to be the head, which agency the people are from. It is to be premature for me to make any definitive comment on that, but I know the House has approved it. If it is necessary for us to pause the implementation and take a look at it, I will come to the House and seek your approval. If it requires, let's go ahead, but make some changes and bring some allies to operationalize it. I'll do the same thing, but it is premature for me to make any sweeping statements about that at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your last question.
Yes, honorable nominee. So I've also cited President Mohammed's 120-day social contract. I did not see anything in reference to roads. Does that make it a priority? And is it a matter that you would want to pay a lot of attention to?
Well, Chairman.
Honourable members, can we have order?
President Mahama.
Can we have order?
President Mahama is very clear on his mind as to what is contained in the 120-day commitment he's made to the people of this country. Indeed, Mr. Chairman, with the kindness of our colleagues from both sides, me being vetted today is also a record of the expeditious way President Mahama promised to form his government. And I want to thank my colleagues from the minority side. The issues he wanted to put before Ghanaians, he's placed them before Ghanaians. It is based upon that he's been given the unprecedented win in this election. So if Ghanaians wanted him to add road and every detail, they would have talked about it. Road is a priority to President Mahama, but let's look at how he delivers on the 120-day commitment, which includes the repeal of some taxes and many other things, which you rightly said. After that, we can pay attention to other things, but he's not saying until after the 120 days, we are not going to be dealing with roads. Indeed, this is just a second batch of ministers, and the road ministry is part of it. It tells you how much premium he places on the road ministry and other ministries. The other ones are going to come along the same thing. It doesn't mean that the ministries that are not here are not premium, but I'm saying that with specific to the road you talked about, he places a lot of emphasis. And you can also attest to the fact that some of the best and biggest interventions on road in this country happened under his leadership. So he's got a track record of delivering, and he will deliver.
Thank you very much. It's now the turn of Honorable Lydia Odolesoa. Rita Odolesoa.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. I wish to congratulate my leader, who has been nominated by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, for your nomination. Honorable Leader, talking about roads, Honorable Nominee, talking about roads, thank you for the correction. Yeah. The Accra Beach Road, Accra Tama Beach Road, which passes through the Dadekotopon constituency, started construction a long time ago, and the contractor has abandoned site. Due to this, there are quite a number of accidents and pedestrians being knocked down by vehicles because we do not have street lights to be on during the night. I want to find out from the Honorable Leader whether you are going to add this to your priority list to ensure that the La Beach Road will be constructed in due time to assist pedestrians and motorists who ply that route.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, and I thank our colleague for the question. I live in Tema, so I know the importance of the beach road as an alternative route into Tema. Indeed, that project was ongoing, and originally part of the China Development Bank 3 billion agreement by, may he so rest in peace, President Mills. Since then, the loan was stopped and restarted under President Akufo-Addo. Unfortunately, that project is suffering the same fate of many other projects, including motorway, Adomi, motorway, Central University, and many others. So indeed, the contractor is not on site. Once again, it is difficult to ask the contractor to go and fix street lights where they hasn't gotten a stage to do that. But I think there can be safety measures deployed temporarily to make sure it is safe. So talking to the resident engineer, I think we can discuss how to make it safe for now whilst we wait for the completion of that particular project. It's a very important project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further question or follow-up before?
Further question.
Further questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. And Honorable Leader, I'm glad the NDC administration is bringing back the toll booth operations. And I also want to support my colleague that when operations begin, in as much as we want to prevent leakages, the persons with disability who were recruited earlier and dismissed should be reconsidered so that they also be gainfully employed to take care of their families. I want to have your take on that.
Thank you very much. We are bringing tolling of public roads back. We are not bringing toll booths back. As I said, it will be deployed on a platform, which means that there wouldn't be physical toll booths where drivers will have to stop and pay. So with regards to the disabled people, sure, we are going to be able to re-engage them. I even said that earlier. We'll re-engage them and make sure that those of them who are capable of playing a role are brought on board to play a role on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further question or follow-up? Very well.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister, nominee, going into the Ministry of Roads and Highways, your colleagues will be knocking at your doors, and I believe we are going to find you when we come there, including myself. I know there are some 2 doors to your office, and I believe when you are there, you attend to us and open your doors to us. On this note, I want to say congratulations on your nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me an idea of where the doors are. I've not gotten there yet, so I don't know where the doors are. But surely, the door that opens for you to see me, I'm one of you. Will be able to do this together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's now the turn of Honorable Patrick Yaboma.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Let me congratulate my good friend and brother Kwame Abuja for his nomination. I wish you the very best, Kwame. Kwame, just to inform you that Sunyani Techiman, Wenchi, Sola Wa have all been awarded for rehabilitation, and Messrs. Maripoma, Hardwick, and Volta Impex are the contractors. Just to inform you. Thank you. To my first question. Tesano has very good roads. Kwame,
please proceed.
He's not talking the mic.
Please proceed. Address the chair and proceed with your question.
I will continue.
Honorable Suleimana Yusuf, please.
How are you speaking to the mic? Unless you don't want me to speak.
It is not only speaking into the mic that can be disruptive. If we talk about disruption, it is not necessarily speaking into the microphone. So please, take a cue. Your question.
Chairman, every MP from Circle, that's Okaikwe South, to Paga, if that person doesn't fly, we either go through the east or through the central corridor. The dualization of that stretch began in 2002 under President Kufuor. Minister Gidisu, at a point, suspended the dualization program to the extent that Honorable Alote Jacobs, at the time after your Congress in Sunyani, raised issues with that suspension. President Kufuor came, he continued from Kwafu Krom, which is in Samoa Drajiri, to Apedra. I remember in 2009, President Mahama even commissioned the overpass around the old Peace FM area. 9 indigenous contractors, Kwame, are undertaking the dualization program. Osino and Yinem, up to a point around your area, Jasu, that area. Want an assurance from you whether those projects will be duly completed and the remaining 94 kilometers from Jasu to Konongo will be tackled, and to continue from where the Swami interchange is being constructed through Techiman, Kintampo, and Tamale and beyond. That defines our country's road infrastructure. And the fact that a similar intervention was made from Rawlins's time, may so rest in peace, Kaneshi to Malam, Kufuor continued to Kaswa, to Yamransa, and to Alubo, under President Mills and President Rawlins. Amen. Kwame, those are critical roads that has caused a lot of accidents. And if for any reason you want to be remembered for as a good minister for roads, including Pong to Aflao, you need to remember for these roads. What assurances are you giving to the good people of this country on these critical roads that I've mentioned? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I earlier gave the indication that the President himself had committed to completing ongoing projects. You are also right by listing these projects as projects on site. The little challenge is that many of these projects are on the back of GOG. So once the contractors raise certificate, they are not paid. In fact, the bypasses on the Accra-Kumasi Road, you can tell that the intensity of the contractors have dwindled significantly. So it is not merely awarding the project, it is about finding sustainable sources of funding to deal with them. You will notice that in 2022 or so, you mentioned some interchange. We approved the loan. I probably was the one who seconded the motion for it because it's a critical, intersection in Kumasi. And the way it is creates a problem. Since we approved it, it was supposed to be a project done in 36 months. But you know that the contractor only turned up on site somewhere close to the end of this year, in the last year. And the percentage of work done on the interchange, guess what? Less than 2%. Terrible. There are two components. The interchange component and the other road network within the area. The other road network within the area is just about less than 10% work done. Also because of the debt restructuring, because it's a commercial loan from somewhere. So as long as we can find the resources, and I indicated earlier, my job is to prepare and package projects